All right, Rebecca. Ryan asked me to film this bicep back workout for you. So we're going to start with bicep curls. 3 sets times 10 to 15 reps. So ideally, the first week, what I'd like you to do is find a weight where you can get around 10 reps. Feel like you got 2 or 3 reps in reserve. And then each week, I'd like you to try to add a rep to your set. Once you get 15 reps, then we'll up the weight and start back down with a little bit lower reps again. So when it comes to bicep curls, I want you to do what works best for you. So that might be starting with them in a neutral grip and twisting your wrists up to the top. For me, what works best, where I get the most activation, I start with my hands supinated already. Curl up to the top. And then when you're doing them, it's the same thing. Do what works best for you. So whatever you feel the most, if you bring your arm out in front just a little bit, that's totally fine. That's a normal function of your bicep where it attaches in the shoulder. What you don't want to do is like swing like that and be using all front delt. You're going to start up, down super slow. And the other way you can do it is to bring your elbow back a little bit more like a drag curl. Right there, you'll feel that a ton in your biceps. So some people find when they come out front like that, it hurts their shoulder a little bit. If it hurts your shoulder, bring your elbow back a little bit, do a drag curl. So we'll go through one set of that, 10 reps. So I'm going to do them hands starting supinated, up, down, nice and slow. And you find if you're doing a negative, the way back down nice and slow, you're not going to need to use a ton of weight. All right, moving on to exercise number 2, incline hammer curls. All right, so now we're on to incline hammer curls. So same idea. 3 sets of 10 to 15. First week we're hoping to do right around 10 with a couple reps in reserve. And by the end, say like week 5, be up to 15 reps, which in theory is greater than what you could have done at the start of your mesocycle. So set your bench back a couple notches. Doesn't need to be on a super far back angle. This one you want to keep your hand neutral. So we're going to be seated, but you're keeping your hands, palms facing your hips, and we're going straight up and down. There's no turning of the wrist on this exercise. So sit down. Let your arms hang to your sides. Get a nice big stretch at the bottom. Up. And same thing, down nice and slow and controlled. And then on the way up, you want to be explosive, but you don't want to swing them. We're going to do 10 reps on here. All right, now, if you find a seated, some people find it bugs their shoulders a little bit. If it does, Just do them standing. Either way is totally fine. Right, now we're only doing 2 bicep isolation exercises, 3 sets each. Do your warm-ups first, so 1 or 2 warm-up sets before you get into your working sets. And then we're going to count your 3 working sets of each exercise as your volume. So that puts us at 6 sets for the day. So because you're doing this 3 times a week, we don't want to go over 20 sets of volume on any one body part. You want to stick in that 10 to 20 range. So you're going to be on the higher end because you want to focus on your biceps at 18. And then from there, we want to kind of monitor and see, okay, how sore am I? Basically what you want to do is you want to be sore the day after your workout. The next day feeling quite a bit better. So when you do your arm day, it's okay to be a little bit sore the next time you do your arm day, but you don't want to be insanely sore. And vice versa, the day after you do your arm workout, if you're not sore at all, we need to either add 1 more exercise, or we just need to really work on the form and making sure you're getting the most out of every rep and every set. So now we're going to move on to banded pull-ups. Banded pull-ups, you're going to get still a little bit of bicep activation, not as much as doing banded chin-ups. But Ryan said you love banded pull-ups, so we're going to leave the pull-ups in there instead of substituting for chin-ups. And that's totally fine because you're going to get a bit more back, still some biceps, but we're not going to overdo the volume on the biceps either that way. So let's move on to some banded pull-ups. All right, so now on to banded pull-ups. We take the assistance band, get our knee in there, go as wide as is comfortable for you. Now the key is to, we'll show this from the front and the back, but start from a dead hang, and then when you initiate the movement, initiate with your scaps or your kind of the muscles around your shoulder blades. So you can see there, I'm not bending my arms at all, but pulling myself up to start. So you want to do that, start up, get your chin up to the bar, and then nice and slow on the way down. Again, with the scaps up, nice and slow, controlled on the way down. And you want to try to get down back into a dead hang, get that nice big stretch. That's what's going to put the most, build the most muscle on your back. So we'll flip that around and just quickly show that scaps from the back. All right, so start with the scaps. Now, move your hands in if it's too wide. If that's uncomfortable, move your hands in a bit. All right, and I don't know where you're at on your pull-ups right now for reps, but we'll do the same thing on here. So however many reps you would normally do. Start the first week with a couple in reserve. And let's try to progress for 5 or 6 weeks. See if we can add 1 rep each week. And then we'll build up from there. Okay, so now we're going to move on to some incline dumbbell high rows. It's going to hit more of your upper back. All right, so now we're going to do incline dumbbell rows. Same rep scheme, 3 times 10 to 15. First week, shoot for 10 with a couple reps in reserve. You're not going to find us in the FitBod app. So what I do is I just put it down under incline dumbbell rows, which we're going to do next. Do 3 sets of these and then 3 sets of incline dumbbell rows. These are going to be lighter, so the first 3 you're going to do with a lighter weight, and then the next 3 where you're doing an actual lower incline dumbbell row, you're going to do those 3 with a heavier weight. There's 2 ways you can do this. First way is just get yourself chest supported nicely on the bench. So we're going to see whichever way is more comfortable. And what you're going to do is you're going to hold the dumbbells in front of you, and you're going to come up 90 degrees to your body. Keep your elbows nice and high towards your shoulders, and basically straight out and back. That's going to really hit your upper back. Now the other way to do it, if it's comfortable for you, where you're going to get the most kind of stretch out of it, is to hang your chest over the bench. And then what you want to do is kind of like at the bottom, let your shoulders hang down. And then as you come up, bring your chest back. Nice tall chest. And down. This is going to give you more of a stretch. Ultimately, this way you get a little bit more muscle growth out of the exercise. But it's not comfortable for everyone. So let's show you what an actual working set looks like. So you're going to get a nice big stretch at the bottom, and then up, down, nice and slow on the way down. You know, spin the bench sideways. I'll show you from the side. Alright, so I'll show you the more chest supported way to start. So chest right on the bench. Still let your shoulders hang down off the start. You can do your best to kind of hang forward. And then back. Now, if we do that, we hang over, it'll look more like this. We're going to do 3 sets that way. And then we're going to do a dumbbell low row. So this one you can do, you can either put your knees right up on the bench if you want, or straddle the bench. I'm going to put my knees up. So now this one you can do both arms at the same time again. But now instead of pulling high, you're going to pull towards your hips. This one's going to do more lat and less upper back. You're still going to get some upper back out of it, but more focus on the lats than the high version. And same thing at the bottom. Let your arms hang down, get a nice big stretch. And then pull back. When you come back, you want to focus on bringing your elbows back. Leading with your elbows instead of pulling with your bicep. That's going to use just a good cue to engage more back. So same thing on there. We want to do 3 sets of 10 to 15 first week. Find a weight, shoot for 10 with a couple reps in reserve. We'll try to be up to 15 in 5 weeks. All right, so now we're on to banded face pulls. This one's going to be a little more high rep. Wanting to shoot for 15 to 25 reps on these for 3 sets. We're going to take the band, tie it around whatever you have to secure it. Step back. So this one, what I like to do, get up nice and straight, and you can take your upper back and your shoulders, keep your lower back nice and flat, but round your upper back a little bit into a stretch, and then straighten up, pull back. Nice big stretch. Nice and slow, especially on the eccentric. So this one's going to hit your upper back, all those postural muscles. It's also going to hit your rear delts, so the back of your shoulders, which are really underdeveloped on a lot of people. Nice thing with building up those posture muscles and the rear delts. It's going to really help with your shoulder alignment, keep everything back. Helps keep that upper back from aching and the neck from aching. So many people now working a desk job, working from home, find that they're always rolled forward a little bit. Those high rows and face pulls are really going to help with that. All right, so 3 sets, 15 to 25 reps, depending on what you have for a loop band. Once it gets too easy and you start getting past 25, get a heavier resistance loop band. So then after that, 3 sets on there, we're going to do banded pull-up arcs. So take your band, hold it out in front. You're just going to pull it apart. Arms nice and straight. Same thing with this. Depending on the strength of your band, ideally you want to get 15 to 25 reps. 3 sets. You're going to really feel this around your shoulder blades, even into your lats a little bit, I find. I like to hold it here just to really get those muscles engaged, really feel them. It's going to turn on all those muscles. The nice thing with that is when those muscles are turned on, it really helps you focus on your posture. So the biggest key to posture is just being aware of it. And when those muscles are turned on, makes you really aware of your posture. That's one thing, like 90% of people really need to work on that posture in the upper back. Now that we're done that, we're going to move on to some core. All right, so next up we're going to do some hanging knee raises or hanging leg raises, depending on what you can do. So the knee version's a little bit easier. Raising your legs is harder. I got terrible hamstring flexibility, so mine look a little funny, but basically, go on your pull-up bar. Gonna hang. If you're doing the knee version, you just want to come up with your knees down all the way. If you're doing the leg version, the key is you're gonna have a little bit of a swing, potentially, but if you're doing the legs, you don't want to really like throw yourself forward. You want it to all come from the core. Same thing, depending on how strong you are on these ones, do what you can with about 2 reps in reserve. Try to add a rep each week. So if that's 8, do 8. If that's 20, do 20. If you're hitting with your knees up, if you're hitting like over 20, 25, then you definitely should be doing straight leg. If you're doing straight leg and you're hitting over 25, then probably have to add some ankle weights or choose a harder exercise. Now we're going to do some banded crunches. So you get your loop band tied around the rack. There's 2 ways you can do these. You can either stand up and just crunch down with your abs from a standing position. Or a little bit of slack out. You can do it from the floor. Key is just to use your core. You don't want to be like just falling forward and be crunching down into the band. Same thing, I pick at a band where you can at least get a minimum of 8, no more than 25. If you're over 25, get a heavier band. If you're under 8, get a lighter band. And that's it. I'll put the exercises, sets, and reps up for you at the end of the video here. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your workout, Rebecca.